poetry. Color me the man that cried I am, and that will be my eternal flame. Color me poetry, for nobody knows my name. I am the living experience, I am the lifelong proof. Color me the poetry of nothing but the truth. I am not to be sold or bought, so color me a scholar in the school of thought, for I am poetry. Color me the native sons that can't be set apart from the poetry of the soul that's straight from the heart. Color me poetry, for I am poetry. Hi, I'm Danny Queen, and welcome to another exciting edition of Color Me Poetry. We have a gentleman here with us who's been here with us many times before, Professor Money Hilton. And today we're going to focus on the African-American holiday of Kwanzaa. Now, Kwanzaa, Brother Hilton, is a cultural, black cultural holiday. Can you tell us, if you will, the difference between Kwanzaa and Christmas? Because some people say, well, Kwanzaa is just a black Christmas.
Kwanzaa, Christmas is an offshoot of a pagan holiday practiced by people who were Manis. Maninism, which is a kind of pagan faith that took place in the 2nd century B.C. Kwanzaa is a cultural holiday because what it takes in all of the cultural aspects, and cultural aspects means all of the things that make a person act and react the way they do. And so Dr. Karenga, in his ultimate wisdom, decided to pull those kind of activities together to come up with a holiday for African Americans. Africans who live in America do not have a holiday. The only holiday that we have is Kwanzaa. For instance, if you do a kind of scan of all the holidays celebrated in America, none equate to African Americans except Kwanzaa.
I'm recalling Reverend Shaka Moose's book, African People and European Holidays.
Yeah, right.
Mental genocide, it says.
Right. New Year's Day is not New Year's is for the new coming of the year. It has nothing to do with people. George Washington's birthday, Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Easter has to do with the resurrection of those people who are Christians. Memorial Day has to deal with the dead. 4th of July has to do with the independence of white people from Britain. Labor Day has to do with the separation of labor and management in terms of the country. Thanksgiving has to do with the whole advent of people giving thanks that they were able to make it in 1620 here in America, those persons who call themselves Puritan. And Christmas is a holiday that relates to a white Santa Claus and a white Jesus and a white God. None for African Americans. So in 1966, if you recall, in 1966, we had just had 2 major riots in this country, one in Los Angeles, one in Detroit, and we're just getting ready to have one in Newark, New Jersey. The country was in an uproar, and we had all kinds of groups in America saying and talking about things that would help the growth and development of Africans who lived in America. SNCC, CORE, the Black Panther Party, and US, the United Slaves, which was an organization started by Dr. Karenga in San Diego. He was under the impression that in order for us to grow and develop, we must be able to connect with our cultural heritage and our ancestry. And so he said he came up with this holiday for 3 basic reasons. One, he said that there's major exploitation that takes place during the Christmas holiday, particularly for those of us who are African Americans, in terms of these sales, in terms of that you have to have some gift for your children on Christmas. For instance, if a child needed a coat in September, they would wait until Christmas to get it, or if you need a pair of shoes, you had to get it, and so they would raise the prices on things, and so people would spend all their money getting these gifts and these things for their children. So it was a major exploitation to take place, and you spend an entire year paying it back. Secondly, he was saying that we needed to take some point in time to rejuvenate, revitalize those principles that our ancestors used to endure oppression, slavery, and racism. That during our entire sojourn here, we have always had to suffer through racism, through slavery, and through oppression. Right. He said there had to be a particular set of principles that they practiced in order for us to continue to exist. And we need to spend some time during the year to rejuvenate and revitalize those and get ready for the coming year. And thirdly, he said that we as Africans really need a holiday of our own, that we did not have a holiday, as I alluded to before. And so for those reasons, he decided to come up with this holiday at the end of the year. And basically was that we need to spend this last period of time in the end of the year getting ready for the next year, because racism still exists, oppression still exists, and slavery still exists. And so he came up with this process saying that we need to look at the symbols that there are symbols that relate to us that should be practiced and should be a kind of adrenaline that will allow us to, when we see it, it makes us think about our cultural heritage, think about family. Because Kwanzaa is a kind of a family holiday.
So Kwanzaa for African Americans should be like the tie that binds, if you will.
If you will.
Mm-hmm. Because the way I was thinking of it is not so much a religious holiday. Because people get caught up in, the Christmas, well, I'm this and I'm that and I'm holiness and all of that. But I think Kwanzaa, you can celebrate Kwanzaa if you're an atheist. Is that correct?
It is absolutely correct, because it's a time to rejuvenate, discuss the principles, connect the family, get ready for the next year. Reaffirming. That's right. Yeah, those are good terms to use. Mm-hmm. And so we came up with about 9 set of symbols that are used during Kwanzaa. And symbols are very important in terms of this world that we live in, because symbols are things that already have a name. You rename this thing or this item or this entity to make it significant to a particular event or to a particular group of people. For instance, universally, this is a sign of peace. It's only a symbol, it's not peace. We know that we do this. Brothers do this. All of those things. We go through these handshakes that we go through.
The symbols.
Yeah, sometimes they give you this and all, So all of those are symbols. And when a person react to the symbol, it's because he equates to it and he understands the symbol. For instance, this time of year, if we look in the spring and we see a cedar tree, or oak tree, or pine tree, and we see those, we automatically think of Christmas. But those are just trees. And then if you be walking down the street in July, just minding your business, and they show you a big white man with a white beard and a red suit, you automatically think of Christmas, because it's a symbol of Christmas. It's not Christmas, it's the symbol. So you see how the symbols become very, very important. Like you go to a party on the beach in August, yes. You be getting down on the beach, and they got the lights strung around the side. You know what they say? They got Christmas lights. You see? So the how important the symbols are.
So relating.
Yeah, no question. When you see the symbol automatically churn up in you this desire to connect to whatever that event is. That's why the symbols are so important, because the symbol makes you connect to the event. So in terms of Kwanzaa, we have these symbols here that are very, very important. And the first symbol that Dr. Karenga used was a straw mat. And he called it, now, we need to understand that in doing Kwanzaa, he used the Swahili terms, key Swahili terms. And the reason he used that language because it's a Bantu language, and it's a root language. For instance, if you look at a word that's in Swahili, a word that's in Japanese, a word that's in German, you'll find that the roots are all there. Okay?
Basically the same.
Basically the same. So he used the straw mat, and he called the straw mat mkeka. And the reason he used the straw mat is that the straw mat is the foundation from which everything else lies. And that no matter how ragged the straw mat gets, it's still able to support the foundation. That is, and in return relating to the family, is that because one member of the African American family is disruptive, does not mean that the whole family is disruptive. Because